this is Stephen in Wiltshire. I suppose I should really get to grips with getting some intro music for this podcast. I tend to put the intro music on when I do the editing afterwards. I've not yet figured out how to put the music on at the beginning. So that's a work in progress, and no doubt I'll get around to it. And on today's podcast, I talk about my inspirations this week. And well, there have been plenty of them. But first of all, to business. We have an election next May in the UK, which is a county council election, and my partner Angelica is standing as the Lib Dem candidate. And one of the things that has to be done at the beginning of the campaign is a resident survey, so that you can ask residents of your particular ward what they feel about the town they're living in, what's good about the town, what problems they have, what they'd like to see. In other words, it's a combination of what problems are you having, what can I do to help you, and how should things be forward. Now, this survey is in the form of a leaflet, and the leaflet has to be delivered to certain addresses, and that's what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. So that's out at 11 o'clock in the morning, because you don't want to actually deliver a leaflet when somebody's at home. So if you go out at 11 o'clock, you can be pretty sure that there will be nobody watching you through the window when you actually put the leaflet through the letterbox. So you deliver at 11 o'clock, and Angelica puts on the leaflet that they will be collected between 6 and 8 p.m. in the evening. So you go out in the evening and you go around the same route, and you collect all the leaflets that have been distributed that people have filled in. And you know they've been filled in because they're actually left in the letterbox. And you're looking at each of the houses you survey to and looking for that telltale leaflet being in the letterbox so you can go and collect it. I know Angelica has had a pleasing response to the survey been completed, and people have been very helpful and on the whole very positive, because what you don't know when you're actually calling on somebody whether and dropping a leaflet off, whether they're actually Conservative, Liberal or Labour. So you could well be posting a leaflet through a door of somebody who is the supporter of a different political party. Anyway, we delivered leaflets on Friday. On Friday, we had to collect the leaflets, and on Friday, the weather was, as it has been today, atrocious. And if you look at my timeline on Facebook, or you look at Anchor's line on Facebook, you'll see it was blowing a gale, and the rain was, well, it was lashing down in parts, and it wasn't the best way to actually go around. Because the other thing is that if people are actually leaving leaflets in their letterboxes, then they can get soggy. And fortunately, all the leaflets we collected were in good condition. Okay, so the resident survey, important to politics, because that determines which topics are actually spoken about during the election campaign. And the next job, I suppose, is actually collating all the responses to find out. And all the parties actually do sort of similar things. It's basically finding out what people are doing, want to be done on their behalf. Interesting. It's kept my steps up. I've been averaging 9,000 steps a day. So from an exercise point of view, it's absolutely brilliant. And from a point that I share Angelica's belief, then it's good. It's very good. So that's the resident surveys, and they're done and dusted apart from the collation part, which we don't have to go outside for, which is good because it's still raining. Now, we've had a continuing saga for the last, since the middle of September, when Facebook changed the way that scheduled live video posts work. And just a reminder, they determined that they didn't need to give you 2 posts. One was a promotional post and second was the post with the video. They only actually needed to do the first one. Now that gave rise to some chaos because there were problems, because you couldn't share that post, and it created all sorts of problems. It's getting a bit clearer now. That first post, which is a promotional post, can in fact be shared, and when you go live, it gives a link back to the live video. Now, before, if you'd shared a video, then everywhere you shared it would actually be live. Now, the only place that's live is the original post on your Facebook page or group. Everything else, it leads back to that. So from an organizational point of view, this means that Facebook don't have to send video to all the shares. And I know that Joe shares 111 times for his shows, so they don't have 111 shares. They just have the one post that everybody can go back to. But the problem is, and it rose this week, and Adair mentioned it, is that this first post is not a video. So you can't go to your page and look at videos for it because it's not there. It just doesn't exist. Some people, if they go to their front page, they will see upcoming and it will be listed there. But that's not true of everybody. And it's very difficult on Facebook to actually find it because, first of all, you've got the pins, then you've got recent posts, and then you might, if you dig deep enough. Okay, so it's a bit of a maze trying to find your scheduled post because it's not a video, it's just an ordinary post, and you don't know where it's going to be. So Adair had this problem and she couldn't find the post, so she couldn't share it. So that means that your reach is down, your audience is down. It has been affecting our reach. In other words, the number of people who can watch our live videos has dropped in the last 3 weeks as Facebook have actually been sorting this out. And that's a bit disconcerting because you're giving the same quality of show that you did previously. Now, fewer people are watching it and you've no control over it. So I took a look because Karen Glasser likes pressing buttons, and a shout out to Karen again. Karen likes pressing buttons. She found a new button on this first post, which said broadcaster only, click here. So Karen being Karen, new button, she clicked it and nothing disappeared. It took her across to Creator Studio, which is Facebook's place for controlling all video and all posts. And if you go into Creator Studio, you can see your post. And if you click the post to select it, you can then press Edit Post. And you can then edit the post. But you're editing the post in your Creator Studio business. So the link you're actually given for it on Edit Post and View Post is a business link. It's business.facebook. So I thought, right, okay, what happens if I take the word business out of the URL? And I did that, and lo and behold, I got directly to the Facebook post on my page. So there you have it. 1, 2, 3, go to Creator Studio, view the post, edit the URL, and you're actually at the post which you can then share. So it takes a few seconds to do, but you don't have to search around for anything. You know exactly the post that you're actually going to share, and it's just so simple and easy to do. It's a bit of a, because it shouldn't be that way, but at least it's a way of doing it. So I did a blog post on Friday, and I did a PDF which is in the blog post, and the blog post gives you this method of Creator Studio, view post, edit the URL, and I'm going to do a video about that on Monday, and that will detail step by step how to do it, because seeing it is believing it, and it is simple and straightforward to do. So video about 3 or 4 minutes, and that should put paid to that problem. Still, if you edit that post, it will disappear in a puff of smoke. So there are more changes afoot. I'll keep you informed about Facebook live viewing as I discover more, and I'll do blog posts and more videos. Talking of which, my YouTube channel has benefited from hundreds of people actually watching the video solutions that I put there. So thank you to everybody who's visited my YouTube channel in the last 3 weeks. Okay, now the other thing that came up this week is that my friend in Qatar, Bosco, would like to do a live broadcast on BeLive. He would like to have his laptop camera, his DSLR camera, and his mobile phone camera on the screen so that he can show different angles whilst he's actually broadcasting. Now, this sort of piqued my interest. How can you actually do that? How can you have 3 cameras with different angles on the screen at the same time, just to view? Now, we've looked in the past at the way you can use AirDroid to bring in your mobile camera, and your mobile camera comes in without any sound, so you don't get any feedback at all, and that works. Then we need to bring a DSLR camera in, and for that I substituted my laptop camera, and that was the second camera in, and then the third camera came in through XSplit VCam. So we've got a 3 camera solution for Bosco in Qatar, and I've got to do the video again on Monday, and that will be an explainer video, and it will show you how you can actually have 3 different camera angles in the same show. They could all be on the screen at the same time, or you could just show one at a time solo. But you could have, I think he wanted the mobile camera to come down through his sunroof. I'm not sure why, but he's experimenting too. So I enjoy taking questions. I enjoy answering questions to BeLivers group. The BeLivers group is where everybody who's on BeLive can go and ask questions, operational questions. And I do a show there every day at 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. in the UK. And I just let Chris know that I'll be doing one perhaps later in the week at a later time, which might work out better. So we'll see. Might do shows, depends what happens this week. But it's strange the way things happen. I went live in the group, in the BeLivers group, at 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. in the UK. And I did my hour-long broadcast. I answered lots of questions and got lots of people involved and lots of watching. And I decided that, and said, well, can we get together and do a broadcast? So, yep, of course. I mean, she's a great friend. And I thought, well, we'll actually go live on my business page and on YouTube. And I set it up to go on my business page and on YouTube. So I did the show at 12 p.m. Eastern, and I'm going live with Karen 2 hours later at 2 p.m. Eastern. Rushed into the studio and forgot to select the scheduled broadcast. My settings were still left on broadcasting into BeLivers. So I went live, and Karen and I had a 30-minute chat, and we can both for the USA and talk for England. So we had a fantastic show, fantastic broadcast. But it didn't go to my BeLive in 5 page. It didn't go to YouTube. It went to BeLivers instead. And it was there by accident. And a lot of people actually saw it and watched it. So that's given me an idea for actually inviting people onto BeLive. So it's two-handed, 2 co-hosts talking about their experiences with BeLive. It was an amazing experience to broadcast with. She's very techy, and as I say, she likes pressing the buttons. And we wanted to speak to Facebook about the way that the changes that have come. I mean, almost everybody has got the new layout, and we're all trying to get used to it. And there is a group of people who broadcast who've got the new schedule broadcast feature, and we've not been asked for it, and we don't get any instructions with it, so we've got to work it out ourselves, which makes for interesting times. But it's not the best way. I mean, if Facebook, well, in the show, which you'll see in the BeLivers group and now on YouTube, if you watch that 30-minute show with myself and Karen Glasser, you'll get an idea of where we're actually coming from. I'm not going to replay the show now because it's already out there. Now, I'm a firm believer that you should have a website. of you to call your own turf, where nothing gets in the way. You're in control. You decide what's published when, and you put it together and you do the posts. And I'm delighted to say that I started a new website called Live Video Training. I started it 3 months ago, and today it had its 50,000th view, which is totally blew me away. To have so many people actually viewing, they view several pages at a time, so it's not people, but we'll get there. But it just means that you can write a blog. I mean, the thing about live is that if you're watching live, it's absolutely brilliant. If you're watching, you get something out of it, but you won't stay as long. Whereas the blog post, not only do you actually get a video, you get the text as well. And in my case, you might get a PDF or a mind map. And because you've got this multimedia approach on blog posts, you can actually say more than you can in a live broadcast. So that's why the website exists, is to tell the story, but to take the video, which is part of the post, and add to it. So you've got a value added situation. So you're explaining what's in the video, but you're also explaining the problem that's being solved and the stories that are being told. And you can use, as I said, I've started mind mapping again. I haven't mind mapped since 2014. I got an account with the company, but I haven't used it since 2014, so I've upgraded it. I always believe that if you're using somebody's software, you should pay, because if you had to write this software yourself, it would cost you every time thousands. I mean, doing this podcast now is costing me dollars, and it's just so worth it because it supports Podbean. It supports the site, and that's got to be worth it. You've got to really pay a little bit. We don't have to pay a lot. We just have to recognize that this is a service that's being provided and it's free. So 50,000 visitors, and I'm blown away by that. Right, now Facebook has a situation where if you, and this is known, we've known for a while that we can't see all the posts on our timeline. Well, I've got 5,000 Facebook, so if I saw 5,000 posts every day, I just wouldn't have a chance to read them. I wouldn't have a chance to get anything done. The other side of the coin, though, is important. If you are a member of a Facebook group and you go into that group, you will not be shown every post. Now, if you're an ordinary member of the group, then you just take it this way. But if you're an admin of the group and you can't see all the posts, then that raises a problem. What Facebook does is it decides the reach of a group post by the amount of interaction. So if a post doesn't get interaction, in other words, comments or likes, then Facebook will not show it to more people. So if you post in a Facebook group, you start off with a reach of anything between 60 and 100 people. And the group size is 25,000. So you're only reaching 60 out of 25,000 people. That's the maximum number of people who can actually see your post. The other 24,900 don't see your post. And that's a major problem, because if you using a support group like the group that Believers is, then not everybody's. Now, I did a poll 3 weeks ago, and that poll was broadcast on YouTube, and it was answered by everybody. And I asked people to actually put in the URLs, their own URLs, and we got a conversation going. And I chatted with about 70 people, and we got 200 comments. And out of the 25,000, we reached 6,000 people, which we didn't think was possible. Well, I certainly didn't think it was possible. If you look at the weekly broadcasts that I do, which are successful, then they're only reaching, well, say only, they're reaching a magnificent 2,000 people for every post plus. And that means that 10% of the group can actually see it. But you're never going to get to a situation where you can see all the posts, which negates usefulness of a group. So that's the negative of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you about it. And well, first time I mentioned it because I only started it yesterday. If you're going to build a community, Facebook is good and it's free, but there are better ways of actually doing it. And I decided that I was going to build our community, and we're starting on a website called Mighty Networks. Now, Mighty Networks I came across in 5-6 years ago, and it's a sort of out the box networking system where you can have the time thread and you can have groups. And if you're a member of a group, you can see all the posts and there is no advertising. And groups can have several hosts. You can have private groups, you can have paid for groups. You've got a whole range of things that are not available on Facebook. So building our community is on Mighty Networks. It's an alternative to Facebook. And I'm building between now and the end of the year, hopefully up to 100 members, which will get us started, a website for, I've got 15 topics in there now. Open all hours, which is a sort of chat room, the live video chat, so we can talk to each other on video, broadcasting problems, okay, and then on to the positive things. We're going to host the live video blueprint there and the live broadcasting and the new show which starts on Monday, broadcasting to with funds, that will be on there as well. United World is going to be on there, Inspired Loving for Britain, and then we're going to take a look at virtual cameras, software that broadcasters should use, podcasting like what I'm doing today, music, so there's sort of a timeout, music, listen to music, and then be live on YouTube. And I'm hoping to persuade Angelica to take there too. So a new network, a new way of communicating with each other. It's got everything you could need. You can groups can be public, private, or secret. It's free. I mean, I'm paying a monthly fee, but ostensibly it's free for everybody. And it shows great potential. I've been using it now for 2 days. It's done everything I wanted it to do. So that will launch. I'm going to bring people in stages. So Angelica will be joining in tomorrow. She doesn't know it yet, by the way. And then I'm going to bring Joe from the live video production blueprint in. And then they probably don't know, but Marco Fons, John, Peter, and Matt are also on my list of people who I would like to be involved. And Chris, if you're listening, I would love you to be involved as well. Okay, that's basically where I'm headed between now and the end of the year, is to actually build an alternative network to Facebook. It's not alternative, it's simply a place to go where there are adverts. You can see all the posts and you're networking with friends. And the only proviso, I mean, there's only one rule: respect each other. And that's worked well. I started 2009 called Prospect Networking. It's still going on now. And everybody respects each other. That's all I expect on building our community website. But I think the way to grow this is simple and straightforward. If you accept the invitation to join, then you've got 2 invites that you can give out to other people. And if you give out those 2 invites, then the site will grow naturally and stay under control. And then when they join, they can give out 2 invites too. So everybody who joins by invitation can invite 2 more people, and that way it will grow at a reasonable pace, theoretically. So that's that. Now, to boost that and to get the message out, there's a new show I broadcast with David Burrows for 3 years, and we had a fantastic time, fantastic show. David's changed his direction to become more commercial and wants to show people how shows can be produced. So he's gone on his own path and I'm on my own path, and there's a new show on Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. in the UK, which is myself and a mystery co-host. It's a mystery until we actually go live. The basic idea is broadcasting to our community, and it ties in with the Building Our Community website quite nicely. And we'll be having guests on the shows, and we'll be doing all sorts of things during the course of the hour. Anything. Pons and I have been broadcasting together now for 2 years, and it's just a blast. And we're hoping that people I mentioned earlier will actually join us too. Final base this week is a new show which officially starts on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. in the UK, which is a broadcast called Be Live on YouTube. I mentioned earlier that we do a poll. I did a poll in the members group and asked people to give me their YouTube URLs. We've got 35 people who've given me those URLs, and with help, I'm got the show on Monday with a new co-host, and we'll be broadcasting and showing 4 videos which have been broadcast to YouTube by members of the members group, and we're showing excerpts from the videos. We won't critique them, that's fair, but we will show you where they are and how you can actually watch more of that particular person's videos. And also, we asked in the same question, 50 people said they were thinking about broadcasting on YouTube. So the midsection, 2 videos section, 2 more videos. The midsection is going to be a training course on YouTube, and it's going to be, we tried it out. We did a test run last week, and in a 30-minute show, or 40 minutes it turned out, things went very well. So that's 2 new shows this week. On Monday, Be Live on YouTube, which is at 10 a.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Eastern, broadcasting to our community with myself and a mystery co-host. Right, I'm going to do a change next week. I'm going to, this next week's broadcast won't be about what I'm doing. It will be a trial of a trail, and that's a tongue twister to start with. But there's some new software coming out from trailit.co, and Angelica and Marco are involved at the moment creating trails. And I'm going to attempt to do one in my podcast next week. I'm going to take you to Stonehenge. We're going to visit Stonehenge, and along the way point out resources that will help you understand what Stonehenge is all about and how it looks now. So podcast next week is not my usual podcast. It's all about Stonehenge. And in closing today, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's listened to this live, and also to people who've listened to the replay. I enjoy sitting down for this half hour in front of a microphone, no camera on, which is I haven't shaved today, and just talking. This has been What Drives and Motivates You, and where does your inspiration come from? And the final line is, if you do nothing, nothing happens. Take care, and I look forward to speaking to you all very soon. Bye.